Well, good morning, friends. Hey, everything's working. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Monitor's working. We're working. We are up and running. It is Monday morning, May 19th, and it is 5 minutes past 5 in the morning, and we are going to get started on our training. For those of you watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to sleep between 7 and 9 hours in a night. Last night, 7 hours and 21 minutes, 7 hours and 1 minute of total sleep, which is right on the mark that I'm trying to hit. I'd prefer it if I slept a bit more, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Anywhere between 7 and 8 is good. Between 7:30 and 8 is better. Anything over 8 I consider a big win, and also not something that is likely to happen in the near future unless I start going to bed at 8 p.m. But we might get there over time. I do this by minding what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance. I try to eat 2,200 calories as a maintenance goal, and usually eat maybe a little bit more because I'm a relatively active person, but not by a lot, to maintain my weight. Most of that is plant-based foods, but I use fish, meat as well on days that I'm trying to hit my protein goals. And I try to hit my protein goals between 60 to 80 grams on days that I'm not really active, which comes down to just under 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, or between 80 and 100 grams on days that I am doing weight training, like today, to support my muscle building goals. Beyond that, I show up for training. I do strength training, I do conditioning training, I do strength conditioning training, I do mobility training, I do endurance training, I do HIIT runs, I do sprints, I do slow runs, I do steady state cardio, low intensity steady state cardio throughout the week. So I train in a lot of different modalities because I'm interested in general all-round fitness and ability. So I just want to be generally healthy and fit. So I do a variety of training. Some days I'm working on my strength and conditioning, building also a little bit of muscle mass, but that's not a priority. Other days I'm trying to keep my heart and cardiovascular system healthy, and other days I'm working on my range of motion and my joints. This morning we're going to do some kettlebell, so some strength conditioning work. I try to spend time with people I love and care about, try to do things that I enjoy, generally try to live a stress-free life. So hey, if those are some things that you're interested in, go ahead, check out my channel, subscribe maybe, at least like this stream video when you find it, and maybe we can continue the conversation in other videos. I just dropped a new long-form video where I talked about how I lost 22 kilos. I went from 101 all the way down to 77 and a half, and I've stayed steady around 85 for years now. So some of that weight came back, some of that fat was translated into muscle mass, and that's the balance that I'm trying to strike, and I talk about that in that video. And I publish other things as well. After this training, I'm going to record a short podcast, and then I'm going to be out for a walk. All right, that's all I have for you this morning. Remember, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I would like to feel fit, capable, and competent for whatever life throws at me, and life could throw a lot at us. And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So we're going to get started and talk about health and fitness. And we're going to get started with a short warm-up. very close to my plant friend here, to Alfred. And if you want to talk about anything in particular or want to chat with me, go ahead and say hi in chat. Let me know you're watching. Leave some support. Hit like. So that I know that you're here and can answer some or any of your questions. We're still warming up. And once the warm-up is done, you know the drill. We get started. We are going to get started with the training. So I'm being a bit mindful of my training because you might know that a couple of weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, I injured my back while lifting. That's why we're working with a light kettlebell. For the last 2 weeks, I've been going out for runs. Yesterday I ran almost 10K. And my lower back has been telling me that it is feeling that intensity. So I'm not feeling anything while I'm lifting weights. But apparently an hour of running versus an hour of walking does cause a certain kind of stress and strain. And I need to be mindful of that so it's not painful and acute or debilitating, but just this little signal that the body sends you saying, hey, you'd better watch out what is happening here. So I'll be watching out for that today throughout the training as well. But in general, I'm not too concerned about it. I think this is just a part of the natural recovery process. and see these motions work just fine. And my guess is that the body will also recover and get stronger through activity, as long as I don't damage it further. So I might have to not run, but walk for a few weeks. But we'll get around to that in time. I'm not too concerned about it at the moment. I'll be concerned if the pain becomes persistent, consistent, and flares out from my back to other parts of my body. Hey, good morning, poor man's Jim. How's life? How are you doing this morning? Hope you're doing all right. I know I'm doing fine. It is Monday morning where I'm at, and we are back at it. How was your weekend? Hope the weekend was alright. Doing great, man. Doing well. Good work. I am doing well. Had a good weekend. Quality family time. Got some work around the house done. We have a wooden deck that every year you need to scrub, rinse, and then oil to make sure the wood stays good, and to make sure that it doesn't get slippery. So over the course of the weekend we cleaned and scrubbed it and did most of the oiling. I'm waiting for it to dry so I can do the second part in oil as well. I think that is a big accomplishment every year. Because I think everybody's favorite thing is doing maintenance around the house, just like taxes. But these are those kinds of things that you just need to do. Worth investing the time and energy in, just like sports. And I've talked about this, and investing in community, in hobbies, in training. You always feel better when it is done. I think that's important. All right, my neck also. We don't live next to the sea, but in the Netherlands, we're not known for the tropical or Mediterranean climate. We do get our share of rain and our share of other bad weather. That is a normal aspect of life in this country. So we do that. That's all right. What I can say is that, the completion of the task is a sort of reward and joy in and of itself, if that makes any sense. And so there are many more things on the list of life and living in a house and being an adult. Hey, by the way, did anyone who's watching see my new long form video? I put out a vlog yesterday about how I lost 22 kilos and kept it off. If you have watched, let me know. If you haven't watched, maybe check it out and at least watch the first 60 seconds. That'll help the algorithm. And also my watch time goal. Still trying to create that one video that 1,000 people watch for 1 minute, maybe 2. Oh, all right, day. Get some sleep. Good luck with the deck and with your next workout. And so you were doing great work with Jace together, working out. Look good, man. Be well, sleep well, and appreciate you dropping by. And have a good day tomorrow. So some mornings my brain needs a bit longer to wake up and to do the work to get started. Some days I wake up and my brain is blasting on all cylinders. I think it's important to just let the body slowly but surely wake up on its own, especially that first hour. I always try to avoid coffee if possible, to give my body a chance to kickstart itself. so that its own systems can work and function throughout the day better than they would if I jolted them with caffeine already early in the morning. But after this workout, we are going to grab a cup of coffee, record the podcast, and because it is Monday morning, we are going to talk about food. By the way, Mondays are always a bit harder in terms of the workout. My guess is that that is because I am still recovering from yesterday's run. And it goes to show that day-on-day training, is difficult to plan and manage. I bet if I would be able to sleep 8.5 or 9 hours, might be a different story. But sadly, we're not able to do that. So I need to be a bit mindful of the day and what kind of training my body will allow me to do, which is why Monday is always light, because we are recovering from an intense day of working out the day before. Let's see, it's another piece of the puzzle of how it's all connected. Right? All of the different pieces are, in one way or another, fit into each other, but also influence each other. And getting fit and healthy is about figuring out the pieces of your puzzle in terms of food, in terms of sleep, in terms of moving, in terms of connection, and in terms of mastery. And there are skills to be mastered in terms of all of those areas, right? There's the skill of sleeping well. I don't think we give any prizes for it. Sleeping competition sounds like fun. There's the skill of eating well. This could be the skill of cooking, of shopping, of meal planning, of cooking in bulk, those kinds of things. There's the skill of movement, which is probably more related to sport, play, or training with something like a kettlebell proper barbell. There's a lot of technique involved in proper lifts, right? There is skill in keeping friends, in organizing events and get-togethers, finding fun things to do. These are skills in maintaining conversation. And there's skill and mastery, obviously, of our hobbies and pursuits, things we do for the sake of doing them. I think we need to be aware, be mindful of that. That skill development is hidden in all of these areas. Sorry, I was slightly confused there where we were in the cycle. But when it comes to mastery, we're doing it purely for the sake of our own pleasure, fulfillment. Whereas the other ones, the skill is also relatively functional, even though, in sport and play, do something like judo or golf, right? There's a lot of skill and technique there that might be the epitome of that pleasure and accomplishment for us. But in general, I think smaller hobbies, things that we can basically do 15, 30 minutes every day, are better suited to our needs in terms of longevity goals, because those are also the things, especially those. So we'll always be sleeping, we'll always be eating, hopefully we'll always be moving. What we will be doing more and more of as we get more time, as we age, because at one point we work less and less. And on to the final set. And then I'm going to clean up we're going to talk about food a bit in depth, right? There's so many interesting topics and avenues to explore. Right, so as we get older, we are probably going to have more time. And that time we can fill in different ways. We can read books, which I think some of us might do. We can watch a lot of TV and sit a lot and eat a lot. We know where that's going to lead, so we talked about that very often. Or we could be actively involved in organizing and doing things in our communities with our friends, and also have pastimes for parts of our days that are engaging, fruitful, and pleasurable instead of distractions from life and living. Pastime could be playing the piano or any other musical instrument. And I'm pretty sure around 60, I would like to pick up dancing. Apparently, it keeps you healthy. Dancing and tennis would be my bets as complements to the good sleep and the good food and the good level of movement training. And then dancing and tennis would come into the category of sport and play. But they're both social activities. Look at that, we're coming up on our 30 minutes of morning activities, just then and there. Isn't that nice? And that's a good start of the day, any day. Final set of deadlifts. These are all basics with the kettlebell friends, right? So, as you can see, by focusing on the basics, despite being injured and not feeling I can lift heavy weights. it is important to note that we were able to stay in good health and shape, as we can tell by the fact that I can run 9.5 kilometers in 59 minutes. And I haven't put on any excess weight, despite having had to change the intensity and type of workout. I'm just going to take a minute, sit, catch your breath. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I would like to feel fit, capable, and competent for life and living, as you know. Whatever change journey we're on, just remember that we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today who's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. It's a bit of kindness going to go a long way. There are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we'll lift ourselves up. And friends, the only way to get anything done, you know what I'm going to say next, is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow for another workout, or in a couple of minutes for a chat about food, because it's Monday. Take care, friends. And remember, subscribe.